What's going on, my fellow rock crawlers? Welcome to another episode of RantDean TV here on Space Dean TV, now presented by Yanni Cat Studios. So we're back for our first episode of the year. Shout out 2026. I hope everybody's year is off to a great start. You know, I know how things could be. We have our resolutions. Some may have fallen off. Some are keeping up to them. And however you're living, just shout out to you for just getting through, 2026. I can't believe we're actually here. So before we get started, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. We are being presented by Yanni Cat Studios. That is my media production company that I founded in conjunction with my writing partner, Chico. Shout out Insomniac Vision, my boy. I appreciate you very much. And really the whole point of this page has really been to kind of curate content and get things going. I know I've been hit or miss, MIA over time. I'd come through, do a couple things and go away. I take full accountability for that, but I've just been trying to figure out my lane in this whole thing like that. And one of the things I wanted to do with the channel is definitely just have this 5 to 10 minute rant session to where I could just talk about things that I saw that I really just felt like I wanted to address and kind of get off my chest, right? So for the first flash topic, I'm gonna bring it to the White House, and I promise it's not no extra drama stuff or nothing crazy like that, but I found it interesting, right? So you know how Trump has sued like these news stations and news platforms and all that because they're just like misrepresentation, or he's just not liking the coverage that's being put out there and all that kind of stuff, right? Not commenting on that, but we found ourselves in a kind of another similar situation. Not yet any suing or anything like that going on, but Karoline Leavitt was recently recorded warning CBS News to broadcast a new interview with the president in full without any edits, or we'll sue your ass off. That's a quote, right? So when I read that, I was really cheesing because I was just like, yo, we have a presidency and administration that truly is out here like the wild, wild west. Like, listen, we're not taking any prisoners. We don't care. Like, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, actually. I think it's just a thing, right? And it's just like, look, we've gotten to a situation to where we literally have administration suing private media organizations for whatever the reason is, right? Justified or unjustified, or whether you agree or don't disagree. But I just thought that was funny that the press secretary got to get ahead and now tell people, hey, we don't like the way that you're editing. We don't like the way that you're, out here with our president. We just don't like it, right? So let me just tell you up front, we will sue you. Thought that was funny, right? So for the second flash topic, right? This is international, nothing like with a country or anything like that, but it affects American citizens. So apparently there's been some error in the system to where US passports have been like reported as lost or stolen, and therefore they're immediately voided and can't be reactivated, right? Like once they're voided, they're voided. No coming back. Like emptying the trash bin on your laptop is done, right? So there have been reports of people, and you can check TikTok, you can check social media, of how this has happened to them, influencers and all that, and they've had to literally like just immediately just drop everything from their vacations and go home, or traveling abroad and go back to the United States. Now there hasn't, as of my reading of it, there hasn't been any official updates to why this is happening, but even if it's just chalked down to an error in the system, that sucks. And I can only imagine how scary it is being like abroad. And the only thing you could think of is, oh, let me find an American consulate or something like that, or an American embassy. It's kind of just like, shit, I'm not just at the crib anymore to where I could just go to my local office, right? You're not in America. So shout out to those people. I hope that they get this whole thing resolved and we go from there, right? So, and for my third flash topic, this one I'm going to definitely dedicate more time in a later episode to actually drawing out more. But I just want to say, I think that Players Club is a movie that doesn't get the respect. I don't even want to say the respect, because I feel like within the culture, those who know of it, it gets its respect. But I feel like on a larger scale, it is one of those movies that I really think should be shown in like high school health classes, right? Like, and I'll definitely elaborate on it further, but I just want to say this. First of all, shout out Bernie Mac, Lisa Ray, Jamie Foxx, like, and that whole cast. Like, it's an amazing, amazing movie, right? Is it perfect? No, it's not. Is it what it is? Yes, it's what it is. But I think it's very important, and I'm gonna just say this, right? Within that film, you truly get the entire or almost every kind of person, every situation, who's there, who's not there, why they're there for, what makes them tick, what makes them go. It's really a grounded representation of truly the messy sandbox that we all live in today, right? So I can go on and on for it. All right, so it got a 35% Rotten Tomatoes and like a 5.8 out of 10 IMDb, right? So it's just, the critics. And look, it's not a crazy movie, right? I'm not saying that's what it is. But what I'm saying, it has so many understated values in it and so many life lessons that I do think that young men, young women should definitely take the time, and excuse my cat if you could hear her, but should definitely take the time to watch the film, and not for like strippers and all that kind of stuff, but really like watch the character, see how to flow for guys, for girls. Like, I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, y'all. So for my main topic of the day, I'm going to be talking about an article that I had read in the Hollywood Reporter regarding Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and their new movie, The Rip, that came out on Netflix a couple days ago, right? So essentially, Matt Damon was saying that Netflix wants plots reiterated 3 or 4 times in the dialogue for phone distracted viewers, right? So, and that was just the article, like, headline. And when I had read that, I was like, oh, what? Like, what are they talking about, right? Like, huh? Phone distracted viewers. Who's a phone distracted viewer? And then as I was reading the article, I thought back to the many times that I would be watching something and then just pull up Instagram or a game and just play real quick, or just scroll real quick, or YouTube. And now I got 2 screens on and I'm not even paying attention because I feel like whatever scene is going on in the film is just like, or TV show is just like, okay, yeah, I could hear it, but it's nothing crazy going on, right? It's not grabbing my attention. That makes me sad, right? Because more than anything, and bigger than just like, oh my goodness, like me looking at my phone, or you're not being able to keep my attention for 2-3 hours straight, right? It's bigger than that, because I feel like we've now found ourselves in a situation to where media, movies and television and just stuff in general just isn't memorable like that. When Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff came out for the first time, Facebook came out for the first time, Netflix came out and it was really streaming, and Hulu, like I remember when it really was Netflix versus Hulu for real, right? And then everything else was behind. It was cool because it was new, it was fresh, it was just like, it was memorable. We remembered those times. We still do remember those times, right? Like we bask in those times. So companies are still chasing those times, right? But now it just seems like, because we've settled in, streaming services are now looking like cable television in a lot of ways. The prices are definitely getting up there. It just seems like we're just churning stuff out because we live in a society now to where we're connected 24/7. There is no low moment time. There is no time for things to really breathe and for people to really just like let things cook. It's just like everything is microwave nowadays, right? So I feel like because of situations where you have to reiterate the plot 3 or 4 times, that takes away from precious dialogue for side quests in films, right? For little things that you want out of a movie, right? Like you want to be able to just have everything have a bow just tightened at the end of it, which ultimately you can't always have that because nothing is perfect, but you strive for that, right? But I feel like when you take those 3 or 4 cues within the film to just say, oh, by the way, right, let's just go back to the beginning and what we're doing all this for, it really is a detriment to the film, right? And I advise anyone who's watching this, whether now or a year from now, hopefully, if this video gets some traction, but we'll see, right? I just want you to just go back to the article in the Hollywood Reporter and just really just read that up, because it for me, it elicited the feelings of just like, where do we go from here, right? And we really got to deal with, stuff like Tilly Norwood and the AI actresses and just the world beginning to change there. And it's just like, look, man, if we can't sit down and watch a film for 2.5 hours, like, and not need for them to just go through the motions. And now look, I don't think that the average viewer is an idiot either, right? Like I'm an average viewer. What is an average viewer? But just whatever average means, I don't think that people out here watching television are just naturally idiots. But I also do think that Matt Damon wouldn't be saying this for nothing, right? Netflix wouldn't be pitching this to its producers or actors or whatever, script writers, whatever, right? Showrunners saying, hey, by the way, we need to make sure that we talk about the dialogue as many times as we can in certain inflection points so that we don't lose the audience. And it's just like, what are we doing? Like, I don't care about like Lord of the Rings, right? Everyone knows why the 9 of them in the Fellowship are all together. They're going to go destroy the ring. We don't need to spend a lot of time on that. But we did find that, especially in the extended cut, that they were able to bring so much like character growth and see like those slight conversations that, especially when you compare it to like the normal cut, you see where the editing took place. There's little stuff like that that's like we're missing when you take the extra 2 minutes, 3 minutes to go back to have to literally walk the viewer back to where we're at, right? Oh, this is why we're here. So I just, so for my main topic, I'm not, I don't know what to do in that situation. It's just, I guess it's just an observation of just how far we've fallen as a people and as a society. We can't even appreciate good films anymore without being reminded of why they're even good throughout the entire process. And then we're not even making films that are memorable. So, and I think the memorable thing is something that should definitely be brought out, because like I'm like, and I'm not saying there aren't any good movies, I'm not saying that, but I feel like movies like I Am Legend, Inception, and I don't want to just go to Inception, but I just feel like those movies from the late 80s to the mid 2000s or early 2010s, it's like that 30 some odd year range is where a lot of memorable films came out. And then obviously we can't forget about Marvel and the Avengers in like 2016, but obviously, that's in its own category. But it's just like those memorable films just disappeared. When I need a comfort film, I find myself searching for something in that time frame. And I think for the later 2010s, the early, in the 2020s, kind of sucks. And I hope that 2026, I'm excited for what's about to come out. So hopefully 2026 delivers everything back to form and we get people back in the seats in movie theaters, and we're just excited about good films, good storylines, characters that we care about, and not just because they're left or right or we can immediately identify with them, but because their arc in the story makes you care. And I think that's what it's all about. So anyways, that's all I got for you today, my fellow rock crawlers. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave any comments or feedback or any criticism you got for me. I'm really trying to get more consistent with this. I think the frequency is I'll be dropping on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'm gonna cut this up, get this out, and then we'll go from there. So other than that, enjoy your weekend and stay safe.